if you're able to master your scapular protraction and maintaining full scapular protraction in your pushing movements, you're going to be able to perform them much more efficiently. For example, in this pike push-up, if I do it without protracting at all, I lose a lot of that engagement in my shoulders and it's way harder, okay? And then if I protract, much easier. The same thing goes for planche, where if I go into my tuck planche without protraction, extremely hard, can't really hold parallel, can't really get my hips up. If I protract, lean into it and hold that, it's way, way easier, okay? Likewise with the scapular protraction in the straddle, okay? I definitely want to try and keep my protraction in the straddle. This is even more important if you want to get really advanced with your calisthenics and do things like straddle planche presses to handstand, because if I don't protract here, I'm not going to protract, it's way, way harder to get into that press compared to when I enter with my protraction, try and maintain it, okay? So like this, much, much easier, okay? This exercise is called the wall scapular wall slide. So you can do this with a foam roller or you could just do it against the wall, but doing it with a foam roller is going to help you visualize and slide against the wall. So here you're going to put the foam roller against the wall like this, and then you're going to push through like you're doing a scapular push-up. You're going to try and push your shoulders towards the wall and get into your full protraction, okay? Then you're going to try and press this up the wall while maintaining that activation. You should feel it in an area sort of close to your armpits, maybe below your armpits like that. Try and keep your shoulders down, okay? Try not to raise them. Try and keep the press in the shoulders. Raise up the wall. Try and keep that engagement all the way up and then all the way down. That's really going to help with the pike push-up, all those overhead pressing movements, okay? I kind of like it without it because I can get the width I want. Here, I press up, try and keep that engagement, I should say. Even this, it's quite tough, okay? It's not extremely easy. I do feel the engagement here. It's going to hit the muscle, your serratus anterior, around the rib cage. Now, if that's easy or you don't feel the engagement at all, the next level to that is the banded scapular wall slide. So you're going to want to put this band around probably your lower shoulder blades, somewhere around this area where it's not going to slip off. This one is a little bit awkward sometimes to get the band in the right area, but you guys will figure that out. Just try and place it where it's not going to slip off. You can either do this against the wall, or sometimes I like doing it away from the wall. So I'll do it, just a little bit close, just to keep parallel with my forearms. I slide up like this, okay? I'm not going and locking out my arms, but just trying to keep that engagement, okay? So I'm trying to keep press. If I end up here and I'm just pushing with my shoulders, that's not the aim. I'm trying to push my shoulders all the way forward, maintain that engagement and press up, okay? Sometimes it's better with not these type of bands, but I'll show you the second type of band you can do this with. You can do it with this type of band. You can see this one's from Gore Nation. I guess this is like a yoga kind of band, I don't know. But this band is pretty good. I use this for a lot of things, and it's also good for this one. So you're gonna put it in the same position. You can change your grip if you like, have it tight up, whatnot. But this one, you can kind of get that press and it's gonna slide a lot less, okay? So try that one out as well. That's a really good one for just maintaining that hollow body position that you want to get in a lot of overhead pressing movements and for planches as well. The next exercise that's really going to work your protraction is scapular push-ups. This is one you should do as a beginner. You could even do it on your knees. So I'll show you the first variation. This is just on your knees. So this is going to be very easy for most people, probably a bit too easy, but if you're finding it very difficult, start with these. You're going to start turning your hands outwards, okay? Because you're going to lean a tiny bit. You're going to get on your knees, try and keep your activation, try not to arch. You're trying to do this with a straight posture, so you're trying to engage your core, engage your glutes, press down, try and get into this position, push your shoulders down and forward, okay, and then you're going to retract here, okay? So this is the really basic scapular push-up, okay? Try to maintain your neck position, so try not to, a lot of people end up arcing and looking up a little bit. Try to keep the neck nice and natural, okay? And then you can advance to the regular scapular push-up. So just a push-up position, okay? If your wrists are fine, you can have your fingers forward, but I like to turn outwards for this because I like to engage that straight arm. I like to really externally rotate the arms, keep them really nicely locked out, because that will help in a lot of straight arm movements that you'll want to learn later down the line. So again, don't have the hips up, don't do it like this. Push the hips down, you can move the feet back. You can even put your feet down. For this one, the floor is slippery, floor is lava. So I'll keep my toes down like this, and then perform the scapular push-up. So you're gonna retract and then push up like this and hold for a couple seconds, then down and up, okay? Again, keeping that neutral neck position, not arcing like that, okay? Trying to lock out the arms the entire time, but externally rotating, which is why I like that hand position. Okay, so that's a good one, keeping and maintaining the core position while focusing on that scapular protraction. Next level up you can do that doesn't require any equipment is you can start leaning forward to do planche lean scapular push-ups, okay? So next, I do like doing these ones on the toes because we're gonna lean forward and you wanna keep that straight line, okay? See how my hips are down, keep the hips down, externally rotate with the arms, neutral head position, fully protract, retract to fully protract, okay? And you wanna maintain that lean. As you lean further forward, try and maintain the lean and maintain that head position. Okay, these are quite tough, okay? And I was learning planche and a lot of harder movements and I wanted to focus on my scapular protraction for my pushing movements. I didn't really do the planche lean scapular push-up. For me, I preferred the regular scapular protract against the band. You can even just hold this and then retract and then back up. Okay, keeping my core engagement and my glutes engaged and my butt down. Okay, again, neutral head position, don't start arcing like this, okay? This next one is one I don't see people doing but really helps with my scapular protraction at the end of the session, especially for planche and movements like that. Okay, it will also help with like the bottom of 90-degree handstand push-ups, the bottom of an elbow lever, stuff like that. So these two I like to call like Van Gelder simulations or Zanetti simulations. So you're just gonna use a band, you're gonna get into this position here, okay? You can have your feet together, get your core engagement, okay, so everything's straight there. Then you're gonna rotate the shoulders forward, so you're gonna protract. That's gonna be you initiating the movement, and then you're gonna press the band forward, okay? If it's a lot of assistance, you can take a step back. If you want more assistance, you can take a step forward. I'm gonna step back a bit so I can get the full range. So you can start with your arms behind you if you like. So protract here, get my engagement. I'm gonna do this more like a planche for planche, or you could do it more like a Maltese if you wanna work on your straight arm conditioning for Maltese and wider movements. But I'm gonna keep it close, okay? And engage, I'm gonna try and allow my protraction, my upper back to do a lot of this. I'm gonna try, the shoulders will be working too, but I'm gonna feel my traps and my upper back a lot here, okay? I'm gonna push there and really feel that tightness in my upper back, hold, come back, okay? And secondly, what I would do is a planche push-up simulation. So you can even work on your bent arm to straight arm, working on keeping your scapular protraction. Again, I would do these at the end of a session. If you're training your skills, I'll do this towards the end. But those are two really good ones that I did use and still do use and recommend for working on that protraction, either in wider movements like Maltese or whatever it is. Maybe you just want to go wider in your 90-degree handstand push-ups, for example. But any wider movement where you're pushing this way, it's really going to help. This way, it's really going to help. The last and final thing that I would do to really increase my scapular protraction to make my movements more efficient in calisthenics is going to be doing them in the actual skills you want to get the protraction better at, but at lower intensity. So let me break that down. So if you want to learn or have better protraction in your straddle planche, then it's going to be really hard to just have better form in your straddle planche or better protraction in your straddle planche. So you want to lower the intensity by doing an easier progression. So obviously, if I have the strength to do a straddle planche, but it's not clean, so let's say my straddle planche look like this. So I get into it, I have good engagement, but I just lose my protraction. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take a step back, maybe in certain sessions or at the end of my session, and just work on scapular protraction. So I'll do that in tuck planche, okay? So because the intensity is lower, I can work on that. And then I'll work on it like this. One exercise you could do, and if I grab this stool right here, is for those of you that are working on tuck planche, you could do it with some kind of stool or yoga blocks, okay? And you can have a foot on it like this. You can lean forward like this, and you're gonna be in your tuck planche basically, but it's low intensity as well, okay? And you can retract and protract, so you're doing scapular push-ups in tuck planche, but with a little bit of assistance. That's a really good one to start working on your scapular protraction, you know, within tuck planche. If you don't have a stool or yoga blocks, of course, you just reduce the intensity by going back to the planche lean and focusing on the planche lean, either holds or dynamically. Okay, so those are really good options. If you don't have a lot of equipment, you have minimal equipment, that's what I do. Use easier progressions such as that. The final thing I've done to really work on my scapular protraction in a lot of these harder movements, and again, remember this applies for everything else like handstand push-ups. I would work on my pike push-up, going slowly, focusing on maintaining that scapular protraction, okay? Going nice and slow. Then I'll go to elevated pike push-ups, work on keeping that engagement that we worked on with the scapular wall slides, all of that, etc. So what works for handstand push-ups as well, if you find you're not really engaging a lot there. But the final thing I'd do is for planche as well. So you wouldn't start off with a very light band, but you would start off with whatever band you need that allows you to get into the form you want or the scapular protraction you want. Okay, so let's say that this one is pretty heavy, so you would just start working on, let's say I'm on straddle planche, but it's again bad form. I would then use this band to do my straddle planche, good form, and I would build a lot of time under tension here. So I'm gonna put this around my waist, get into position here, you know, use a decently heavy band and just work on holding, okay, in my protraction, okay? Because that's gonna build up a lot of time under tension, because your shoulders aren't the issue, but it's those smaller muscle groups that maybe you're not used to activating in planche that you wanna get used to activating. I have more tips on this specific to planche, but we're keeping this general to calisthenics. So I'd use bands in a lot of other movements as well. For example, if you wanna work on like a pike press, you could use a band for that. But that's the last thing. I'd do the specific skill at a lower intensity, either an easier progression or with bands, and I'd work on the form and the activation. And if you do that, I'm sure you're gonna have better efficiency when you come back to your skills in your protraction. You're gonna be a lot stronger and be performing them much, much easier. Also, you guys will know I'm doing calisthenics coaching. It's called the Jack Calisthenics Static Team. I'm now building. It's group coaching for either straddle planche, or now I'm opening up to advanced tuck planche. So if you wanna get coaching from me at my cheapest prices that I do have for coaching, then you wanna get involved with the statics team, okay? The link is down below if you wanna get involved and get some help with some of these movements. If you're working on planche specifically, okay, it's really gonna help you increase your form. Again, it's open to people training advanced tuck planche and straddle now. A lot of these guys have had really good improvements in their form. Someone even unlocked full planche training in the static straddle planche group. So yeah, let me know if you guys are involved, check the link down below, and yeah, you can watch these videos next.